Classroom Assessment Technique, Minute Paper. The following presentation is a brief description of the informal assessment strategy called Minute Paper. This video will cover a brief summary of the strategy, how this strategy may work best, limitations and advantages, some of the best practices of the strategy, and how it may be used for providing feedback. The quick 1-minute paper, also known as a half-sheet response, is a simple way for instructors to collect written feedback on student learning. As presented by Angel and Cross, the textbook Classroom Assessment Techniques, this strategy allows the instructor to gain a manageable amount of timely and useful feedback from students for a minimal investment of time and energy. The intention of this assessment is to be quick, generally executed in the last 5 to 10 minutes of class after a lesson is completed. Assessment should take place periodically throughout the course to provide the opportunity to modify lesson plans and to answer student questions as they arise for enhanced learning. The 1-minute paper is comprised of 2 questions that may be customized to the course material and needs of the instructor. The instructor hands out a note card to each student at the beginning of class. At the end of the class, the students are asked to answer 2 questions on their note card, using only 1 or 2 sentences for their reply. Then the note cards are returned anonymously as they leave the class. Typical minute paper questions would be, what is the most important thing you have learned? This question assesses more than just recall, but the student's ability to decipher the most important information covered in the lesson. What important question remains unanswered? This question requires the student to self-assess if they understand what they have learned or if they have additional questions. The instructor follows up by reading each of the notes to analyze if the students have generally understood the learning objectives of the class and what clarification is needed. The minute paper offers tremendous flexibility in use. It is frequently used for lecture or lecture discussion style courses, but may also be adapted for use in other learning scenarios such as lab sessions, field trips, homework assignments, video lessons, and even exams. The minute paper is also flexible in the timing and frequency of administration. For example, it may be administered at the beginning of a class to review specific learning tasks since the last lesson, or at the end of a session to review what was just covered. It may be used frequently over a course that introduces a great deal of new material or only once to assess a specific lesson. The limitations of the minute paper are few, but fall within the following themes. Students may not synthesize information in the way you think they should, which may be frustrating. Student questions may be more challenging to answer than you anticipated. There may not be enough time to adequately answer all student questions. If done anonymously, you will not know which students are grasping the materials and those that are not. Some instructor benefits of the 1-minute paper include ease of execution, engaging all students in learning at the same time, obtaining quick feedback if students understand the material for a lesson. Consistent feedback indicates where adjustments should be made to a lesson. Research indicates that instructors that execute informal assessments and adapt lessons based on feedback create better quality courses for students, and students obtain higher test scores. Student benefits of the minute paper include better quality courses as instructors modify content to maximize learning, the opportunity to practice synthesizing information by putting hand to paper without worrying about wrong answers, an opportunity to provide feedback to the instructor and get clarification in a low-risk way. Students that completed minute paper assessments achieved significantly higher post-test scores than the control group in a research paper published by the Indian Journal of Research. Best practices of the minute paper include: be clear on what specific information you want to focus on. Be prepared to modify your lesson plan or teaching methods if the result of the assessment is different than you expected. If you are unwilling or unprepared to change your method, perhaps assess different subject matter. Test your questions with a colleague or a teacher's assistant before administering to ensure clarity. Provide clear instructions to students, how much time they have, the type of answer you want, and when you will provide feedback. Also, have a plan for providing feedback. Options for providing feedback are varied, but a few approaches to consider are allocating a specific lecture or class discussion time to answer questions that follow a particular theme, providing follow-up email to the class with additional reading or video links to clarify content between classes, adding in-class activities to review misunderstood materials before formal assessments, sharing insightful student comments with the class to highlight excellent or thought-provoking responses. Alternately, the activity may be modified as a Think, Pair, Share activity for peer assessments immediately after the activity. If you are choosing to modify your lesson plan based on responses of the minute paper, share that with students so that they can see their feedback matters and encourage continuous participation.